All right, so some more range of value. This reflection shows up because of the darker color around the eye. So I don't want to darken the eyes too much, but there has to be a contrast if you're going to see the reflection at all. So it has to be dark enough so it actually looks like a reflection. So I'm going to do that on the eyes here. Some tiny little eyelashes to do. I need to sharpen my pencil for that. So the eyes are colored blue, and they're light, but drawing in black and white color, I really have to darken them a little bit, or at least maybe not, maybe just enough is the word I'm looking for. I need to darken them enough. So you see a reflection there. And then some of these other lines, you don't want to, I don't want to make them too dark. Because if I do, they will look funny. They'll look like wrinkles. This is a baby face. A baby face is very soft and not wrinkly. So if I'm not careful, I'll make it look like this baby has a really old face. I think I'm going to switch to a mechanical pencil for just a little bit. See if I can put some tiny little eyelashes, just hints of eyelashes, a couple places. I can hardly see these little baby eyelashes. The other thing to decide when you're doing this is how crisp do you want your lines and how much of a cleanup job do you want to do. Are you going to come back with an eraser and fix some of the loose extra lines that you put in there, or are you just going to kind of leave it as a sort of sketch? And then also some of the details. Now I just made a mistake and I put my hand right on there. All the smart people put little pieces of paper underneath their hand. And so let's be smart. And let's erase a little bit of this. And then let's get rid of some of the smudges so we have the areas that are supposed to be darker are darker and the areas that are supposed to be lighter stay lighter. If you don't do that, you end up with a bunch of smudges. So just looking for these little areas where it's just a little bit lighter and then a little bit darker. And I don't want to overly darken the areas that are actually a little bit lighter. But I also don't want to not put any value there when it needs that little bit of difference to show some of the contours of the face, where the baby's personality comes out. It's gonna be blanket and another way of blanket. Okay, I'm gonna just commit to my blanket lines. It's kind of funny texture on this little blanket. It's dark back there. Fingers kind of hiding back there. All right, what else? What else are we gonna do on this thing? Oh yeah, the candy corn. so it's white, orange, and yellow. Well, I'm doing monochromatic, so this yellow is going to be slightly lighter than the orange. And then the sleeve comes forward a little bit, and then it casts a little bit of a shadow. So I want to show that. And there's a little bit of reflection over here. You know, these are the kinds of subtle little things that can make it just look a little bit more realistic. I'm going to go ahead and put the, just going to play around with the texture of this blanket right here for a little bit. Doesn't really matter, right? I mean, if you're into details and you want to spend the hours, the minutes to get the texture perfect, go right ahead. There's nothing wrong with that, and some people are really good at that and they really enjoy that. But for now, we're just trying to create a simple little sketch using a photograph. So I'm going to kind of do some contour lines that aren't really in the picture, but they'll just help you see the shape, the form, I should say, of this candy corn. So these are hatching contour lines. I'll make it a little darker around the area of reflection. And then it's just a subtly little bit darker back on this side. It's just like a little bit of a tease. One of the things to know is when you're trying to do hyperrealism, which is like exactly real, you want to try for getting a photograph that has a lot of exact detail on the original, which this has some of those things, but it also has some blurry areas that are not.
We're arming up at 4:45.
Okay. That are not gonna help you as much. Okay, so yeah, maybe a little more candy corn would suit you if you were making this drawing. But I think, yeah, maybe I want to put some things on the top here. You know, maybe I want to fix. See, this actually goes up higher than the way I drew it. You know, but that's not my passion. Maybe it's yours. You know, you have to decide how you're going to live your life. Are you going to live your life obsessed with little details that you find very, very important? Or are you trying to find a way to just quickly capture a moment in a drawing? Okay, so I think I'll just, I will go ahead and put in some of the sparkly little translucent fabric. There's that funny little one right there. Actually, this is kind of a fun way to study value, because trying to make something look translucent is is all about value. The subtle changes from light to dark, which if they weren't there, you wouldn't know that it's see-through. So maybe we'll play with that just a tiny little bit. So this is going to be a little darker. Trying to capture the little folds and little places where it's a little darker, but not too much darker. And then it gets much darker there. Back behind here, it's darker than there, but not as dark as that. So maybe I can just do a little bit of this for fun. But I mean, if this starts to stress you out and drive you crazy, you know, you want to take a step back and kind of go, well, do I really need to put that in the drawing? And a lot of times there's no right or wrong answer. It's more about what your objective is. Why are you doing this? And most of us, most of the time, are doing it to learn. And we want the learning to be enjoyable, don't we? So let's not stress ourselves out too much. Right? And, you know, I could just leave it like that. Or I could try to put the sparkles in. You know, that's another challenge. But before I do any sparkles, I want to look at the value range. And try to show the light and the dark. So like this, there's a little area that's dark up here, then it continues back here a little bit lighter. And as the fabric goes over it, it's a little bit lighter also on the other side. So I'm using hatching lines right now that aren't in the original, just to try to show myself where things get lighter and darker. And maybe I'll cross hatch a little bit, or maybe not. Looks like I am cross hatching. All right, so sparkles or no sparkles, I'm not really sure. Now let's just talk about, okay, we got this yellow part, and then we've got this orange part, up again and back down. And then the top is pretty light. Okay, and then there's like the texture of the fabric and the lines coming down. And the question to ask is, do we want to include that and how much? And there's a simple way to do it, and there's a less simple way. Both are just fine depending on what, as I said before, you're trying to achieve. Because just putting these little lines might be enough, right? Or am I doing a study of texture on a hat, you know? In which case, maybe you want to spend more time on it. You don't see the lines as dark over there, so. And then up here it's even lighter. So instead of doing all the fabric details right now, I'm just gonna, my objective is gonna be to make this a little darker than the white. So there's range of value to show that there's different colors, or at least different values on this hat. Gives the hat a little personality. And then the yellow, we went with, what did we do for the yellow? We went with, well, we didn't really end up seeing a lot of the yellow over here, actually. It almost looks just like the white. Okay, what about this thing? What about it? Are you going to keep those lines going that way? No. What about all these other lines? Treat those as contour lines over there. So if I'm going to spend a bunch of time on the details of the fabric, I need to make it clear to myself where that will happen. Right, like these little, do you want to go in and put them all? I kind of do, and I kind of don't. But you get to decide that on your own drawing. I think I will kind of use this little shape that I'm seeing. A few places. To just show there's some stitching. Can I continue it really lightly up here? Maybe. And what are we gonna do about this stuff? I'm a little bit concerned that if I start doing all those patterns, then I'm gonna get obsessive and do the whole thing, and it's just really not necessary. And I'm not so sure it's going to add a whole lot to the drawing. But maybe I can kind of show that there's something happening here. There's some maybe that's something like that does the job. Showing that it's got, you know, just a little something like that. It's kind of trying to show that there's, it's kind of making contour lines without worrying exactly about the pattern. I think that'll be fine. You might disagree. You might think, no, you need to go in there and draw those cool little patterns. But I don't think I need to do that. And guess what else? I don't feel like doing that. This is my drawing, right? And you get to say the same thing on yours. How do you want to show your own personality and mood in your own drawing? I want to do it like this. This is the fun part, being creative and expressive. Now, there's something to be said for getting details perfect and photorealistically. There's nothing at all that's bad about that, but I like expressive lines. I like little lines of like that. Maybe you look at it and you're a professional hat maker and you're just really upset right now. Because when you made that hat, you put so much time into those little details. But I look at it and I go, all right. Now maybe I want to add something on the stitching. Or maybe I want to put in the background dark. But I think right now I'm going to pause and just enjoy what's already there.